Well, greetings, folks. I am now live. I haven't done this in a while, so we'll see what happens. I am going to, I might just leave it muted for a bit here because I have no viewers at all, so I'm not going to babble at space for now. But now that people see, hopefully, that it's broadcasting live, they will want to come and view. So I'm going to mute it for now, do a few things, and I'll check back to see if I have any viewers, and then I will start babbling. Well, howdy, folks. Maybe I should change my chair. This fucking thing's so squeaky. Anyways, hopefully folks can hear me. I'll check the feed later to see if you can hear the vocality. Me babbling away. So, anyways, I haven't done this in a long time. Hosted a hangout. So please be patient. There's a lot of new tools and doohickeys going on here. So I thought I might babble away by myself for now. And then if people are interested, they can join in. So most people should know why I'm hosting this hangout, because I'm really having big struggles in the old brainium area with I don't know how to word it. It's really difficult to word because wading through this is a minefield. You step over there, you're gonna piss them off. You step over here, you're gonna piss them off. And I honestly, if I piss somebody off, so be it. But on the eve of this whole this thing that happened in Paris, I was almost physically ill. I couldn't watch the footage personally, and it just hearing that Allahu Akbar in the background and these fucking cowards gunning down somebody lying on the ground. Yeah, it just really struck a nerve with me. And I know that there's this whole thing of it, this notion of the moderate kind of believers and people of faith being, safe bookends for what amounts to fundamentalism. It seems to slowly be resonating with me more and more, but I don't want to go that way because this is where my difficulty is. What can you do? You can't do anything. Based on principles, you can't do anything to a whole mass of people. You can't. It's just not right. And I know that. What do you do? Like, one thing that really kind of I don't completely understand is how people, some people, I guess, almost instantly, in the same way, there's a knee-jerk reaction to say, look at that religiously motivated violence. But then people react the other way and go, oh, no, you got it all wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. Is this a no true Scotsman thing? No, I don't think so. I personally don't think so. What can you do? I mean, I don't know. I find it very difficult, personally, because I know of some theists here online, at least, and some here on the little island I live on. I work for some people who are Christians, and I don't care. So they don't push it on me. They don't, you know. So I'm not for, like, somebody asked me, I forget who it was, in a comment, am I advocating for genocide? It's like, well, wait a minute, no. That would be taking the page right out of, I would say, out of, pick your scripture. Sorry, that's not me. Anyways, if anybody's interested in joining in, maybe showing me the light, if there is a light to be shown on this, that mayhaps throwing the baby out with the bathwater isn't a good idea, but that's the thing. Some people say there is no baby to begin with. I was looking up some stuff with Sam Harris, who is, of course, like very infamous for his views on this. And he had kind of some interesting points. One of them being, in a way, it's how can I word it? The very same, let's say, scriptures and traditions and stuff that the fundamentalists follow so passionately. They're all based on the same faith and the same scriptures and stuff that the moderates believe in. So it's like I said, are the fundamentalists the actual true Muslims or the true Christians, and the other people are just Muslimish and Christianish? I don't know. I would almost recommend that you would divorce yourself completely from any such term. That's I would personally do. Which is actually that's kind of what I did when I was a Christian, because after I dug a bit deeper into such things, and I was like, whoa, wait a minute, nope, goodbye, we'll see you later. So I'm just going to maybe I'll put the link. I've never done this before. Put the link to the hanging out portion of things in the actual Google chat. Maybe we'll try that. Video embed, YouTube page. No, I don't want that. They changed all this shit. You know, I'll just copy this. Here it comes. Boom. See if anybody wants to join. We'll just wait on that. There's somebody babbling away in a window over here. Here, I'll put the link here for you. Eve. Ariel. I think that's the link. They've changed things, so I don't know if that's the link for sure. We'll see. We shall see. Oh, that was the link. Ha! It was the link. Hey, Blue.
What's up? Am I not supposed to be here?
No, hey. I put the link in there, so whoever is able to click, I guess, can join, it seems. And we'll sort things out later. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you tonight?
Yeah, okay. Okay, not too bad. I don't know, what do you have anything to say about this whole schmozzle?
Well,
Yeah.
I'm curious to know what you have to say.
Oh.
Like you got a lot on your mind with this hangout. That's just my initial reaction.
Alright. Oh, it's hard. It's so difficult. Like, it's such a minefield, like I said. It's such a... No matter where you step, something's going to be possibly going wrong. You know, because I don't want to step into that whole idea of I don't want to go anywhere near controlling anybody else's mind. I don't want to tell somebody what to believe and how to believe. That's one of the greatest quote-unquote sins in my book, is removing the autonomy of the individual. That's why we have incarceration, because, you know, you do something wrong, well, we're going to remove your autonomy. That's what we can do to you. So, to me, that's probably the most heinous thing you can do to somebody, especially somebody.
Your physical autonomy, certainly, but intellectually, if someone has a better idea or some new evidence comes to light, I'm willing to change my mind. I would hope everybody feels the same.
Yeah, that's kind of the view I try to take, and what's that?
People can talk me into things. I mean, if you've got a good case and you've got a good perspective or brought up something I've never thought of before, then, you know, why wouldn't I listen to that? I think you can listen to people.
Yeah. No, exactly. That's where my biggest struggle. I mean, that's where my biggest struggle is with just life in general, with how humans go. I mean, because Gambler. I don't know if you know Gambler. That guy, like, some of the things he says, I'm just like, fuck yeah. Like, geez, you hit it right on the head, dude. Like, wow, that's awesome. And to me, it doesn't matter if he's a theist. I don't give a shit. You know, like, it doesn't, and it shouldn't matter, because I mean, it shouldn't matter if he was a street urchin who came up with some amazing idea and had no teeth. I don't care. Hey, it's a great idea, awesome. Let's go for it. You know, but I have trouble with the whole broad brush thing. But it's difficult. How do you weed things out? How do you react to this without? Like, that's the thing with being honest, because I don't think it's honest when people say that, oh no, this is just a political agenda. I don't think that's being honest.
Maybe I think you have to accept that in every walk of life there are psychopaths.
There are, sorry, I broke up a bit there.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
The whole broad brush thing, but it's difficult. figure things out. How do you react to this? Without, like, and that's the thing with being honest, because I don't think it's honest when people say that, oh no, this is just a political agenda.
Somebody's
I don't think
echoing.
that's being honest.
That's great big war.
Maybe I think you have to accept that in every walk of life.
I'm gonna mute you for
Yeah.
now.
Go ahead, dear. Stop, back away.
There we go. Sorry, Fiona, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm saying maybe you have to accept that in every walk of life there are psychopaths.
Oh, definitely, there are psychopaths.
They will use whatever they can think of to justify what they do, be it religion, be it race, be it some other form of ideology.
Well, economics even. Like, seriously, you can use anything to bludgeon another with it.
Yeah, and I think the reason that religion is getting focused on a lot is because the religious extremists shout the loudest. And they're the ones that are doing these things that hit the headlines. You don't hear about all those Muslims who yesterday didn't go out and shoot people because it's not news.
I'm gonna. Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. I somewhat disagree with Fiona. I'm sure she's not surprised by that. Regarding, kind of the moderates not really doing anything extreme, I can agree to that point. But to me, I see it kind of as an enabler, if that makes any sense, using that term.
Well, see, I'm not so sure that it is enabling, because the moderates are attempting to do exactly the same as the atheists are doing, and they're trying to prevent the funding.
Hey, whoa. You just muted. Listen.
No, I just, so many, yeah. If you come in and you're not talking or whatever, and you got a noisy background, it would be great if you muted people's. That's just a nice request. But
Well, you just got in. She was
go ahead.
muted while she was talking, though. That's kind of a little
Who
messed up.
muted her? Sorry. Somebody muted her?
Great big bore.
Great big Boar is muted. He muted me, and now he's muted Eve.
Can we kick him out if he's
Who's doing the muting? Who is doing it?
Great big
Big
bore.
Boar.
Hey, like, I don't understand. I thought he was always a cool guy. That's really weird. Sorry. Oh, he says sorry. That's really weird. That doesn't seem like his character at all.
I wanted to chime in with Eve here
Yeah, go ahead.
on something. I almost choked on my pizza because what she said was being an enabler. What it means is the moderates are just as dangerous as the extremes, because the moderates are the ones that fund the extremes and they support them, and they just get louder and louder the more powerful they get. So
bingo, I fully agree.
And can I also add too that even the moderates that go against some of these extremists, the very core beliefs are the same. So the enabler aspect is right there.
mm-hmm.
It's any illogical belief or stance can be either self-harmful or harmful to society in general.
That's right. And because their numbers are so grand as well, correct? Eve? Like, I mean, it's the moderates that make their numbers so grand.
I would say it contributes, absolutely. And like in the United States, I know it can be different, in different areas and everything. In the United States, even people that most people would think are moderates, once you get to really discussing things with them, they do have extreme views, and they might not express them as vocally as what we would think is a fundy or extremist like G-Man or what have you, but they still hold that stance, and it still influences their voters' choice, their political thoughts, their whole
agenda.
Well, any kind of illogical stance creates a totally different worldview than a logical stance would.
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad you know what I think. I'd like to know. I would like to finish the point I was making actually, which was that the majority of the moderates are actually fighting the same thing that the atheists are. They don't want to see a theocracy. They don't want to see religion being dragged into government. They want a secular government.
Boy, I don't really see that. I don't see that anywhere.
Well, I mean, I'm not in the States, but I mean, certainly over here.
Well, if you look at G-Man, G-Man says all the time that he doesn't want a theocracy, yet if you listen to him in between the lines, he's very much promoting it.
Yes, he is. But I honestly think that if he is saying that he doesn't want a theocracy, but his words belie that, that doesn't mean that all moderates want a theocracy. And I'd like to know how the moderates are funding the extremists. I mean, I certainly don't think I've funded an extremist in my life.
There is certainly huge churches right here in the United States that has tons of pews filled with moderates promoting political agendas and using the scriptures to do that. And also, just to talk about the point you had made that, G-Man, my point in bringing up G-Man, talking about him not wanting a theocracy, yet in between the lines you can tell that he actually is promoting a theocracy, is because that is the mindset of a lot of believers, whether they are moderates or whether we would label them extremist.
I have a feeling that maybe the US is very different.
I agree with that.
Very different, because I can only talk from the viewpoint of the moderates over here, and it really is completely different.
Well, honestly,
Absolutely.
though, you can only really speak for yourself, to be honest.
Which is why being told that I'm funding extremists.
But you weren't told that. It was said that moderates do.
Yeah.
Well,
you stop directing it to yourself, Fiona. It wasn't about you in particular.
No, I'm not saying it was. But what I'm saying is I think it was, yet again, another broad brush. That's what I'm saying.
No, it's not a broad brush.
Well, it kind of has to be put in a broad brush when we're speaking of the impact that it has on society.
Well, not
it was a general comment.
Okay.
It's certainly safe to say that moderates give cover to the fundamentalists. That is certainly safe to say.
Yeah, they pay with their dollars. Wherever the dollars go, that's what gets supported.
Well, they give legitimacy to the religion because they're not so crazy, so everyone can relate to them more.
Mm-hmm.
But they're not all giving financial support directly. They might give tithes to a church that might do something with money that we don't agree with, and maybe even the moderate doesn't. But that's not an issue of the moderate, that's an issue of the clergy in the church.
Well, my problem is, how do you even define what a moderate is? Because let's take, for example, my parents. If you approached my parents and you asked them, do you believe in forcing your beliefs down people's throats? No, I don't. Do you believe in people having the right to choose what they can and can't believe in? Yes, I do. Do you believe that homosexuals have the right to marry? No. So you start getting into you can't. There comes a point where you're asking the question, how do you define a moderate? Because it gets the further that you get in discussion with them, the more that you start to recognize that they do hold to some positions that
Some of them are forced into funding as well with that. I come from a system where they were guilted so severely for not tithing 10%, they would give their last money just to get that 10% in rather than feed themselves. So that's, to me, like, moderates are also considered the ones that are controlled the most and the most harshly.
But the thing is, though, you're talking about the whole same-sex marriage thing. I mean, there are theists that are for same-sex marriage or stand politically liberal. Are they really? Will we really label them as moderate, or would we maybe add a third label, a progressive theist? Like, would that be a fair thing to do?
Well, what you should do is see it as a spectrum. And you are a moderate to the degree that you blow off your religion.
Yeah, I guess. Because, I mean, I really wouldn't so much call them moderate as I would go by the label progressive, because there are some theists that that do a lot of good work for the separation of church and state, at least or they promote good things from at least our point of view. Like, for example,
at the foundation of that, you can't say that.
Hold on. Can I finish?
You can say that.
Can I just finish, though? I mean, I was about to give an example. I mean, someone like Reverend Barry Lynn, who is a very progressive theist, and he's the head of the Council for Separation of Church and State.
You can't be theist and move humanity forward. Period.
No, that's just...
That sounds kind of ridiculous to me.
If you're going to believe in woo-woo,
I would.
You're going to take humanity down a path that's not going to take anywhere.
I would have to disagree with that as well. If I could just jump in real quick, and I'll just make it real quick. I would have to disagree with that, because a lot of theists are even though their religion is not what progressed science, a lot of our great scientists of history have been theists.
Well, sure, Isaac Newton was a theist, but that doesn't make theism right. And if we had listened to Isaac Newton's theist stuff as opposed to his actual science, we wouldn't.
Excellent point. Can I just interject and say something? Is it possible for me just to say something here?
Yes, please.
I think you're all just missing the point here. You don't have moderate religious people, because as soon as the other religious people realise they're moderates, they turn around and say, well, they weren't true religious in the first place. They're kicked out. They're banished, and they're not ascribed to being religious. And as for people who say, well, yeah, religious people say that, well, Isaac Newton and Darwin were religious, they hate them. They hate them for the things they did that weren't religious. And they only claim them as religious to try and nullify the things they did that weren't religious. You know what I mean? Yep. So you're never going to sort that out with people, you know?
So, Rictus, you were going to say something?
Oh, I was just going to say something about that whole... It's kind of off topic, but about Newton. The guy was a brilliant loon. Over 70% of his stuff is garbage because it's alchemy or code, Bible codes, prophecy. Yeah. So he was a brilliant loon. That's about it. You know, so and we don't listen to that alchemy and all that other crap, do we? No.
Right.
Exactly.
I mean, it's kind of a moot point to bring that kind of stuff up to me personally.
Well, yeah. What I was trying to say, though, just if I can clarify, I wasn't trying to say that theism really itself is like something that's completely progressing humanity. I'm saying that there are a lot of people who have progressed humanity in the past, and people who are still progressing humanity today very well, who are theistic in some way or form.
If that's true, Putin, can I interject something? If that's true, what great discovery have they made in the 19th century?
Bingo. It's the latest, greatest theist adventure that we can all point to that's helped humanity in any way.
Mm-hmm.
So,
if I could say, I actually kind of agree with Prudent on this, but I think that I agree that there are theistic people who are theist who can progress humanity, but I don't.
Why don't they then eat? Why don't they?
If I can just finish.
Let me finish, for crying out loud.
Finish, please.
I don't think that theism progresses humanity.
That's exactly what I just said.
Yeah. So my whole
they do, despite being
militant stance is for not the people.
Like 5 tears.
But would it be safe to say that a theist is not progressing as fast as they would have otherwise?
No.
It depends. I mean, like, there are a lot of
Being
theist
theist has got
scientists
nothing to
today.
do with progression, you know. You progress despite being theist because you start to believe things that other people would have told you not to believe through your theism. But you get above, you climb above your theism and you believe things which, you know, your Bible tells you is false. But you start to understand it's true through your education. You know, that's what changes you. It's knowledge that changes you, not dogma.
Yeah, but the whole point is, like, I mean, like, even from a secular point of view, like, there are several scientists even today who are theistic, but it's not like their theism is necessarily, like, interrelated with their science. They can keep that as separate spheres of their life. I mean, one of them is in this hangout right now.
Well, but at the
Yes,
same
do they though?
At the same time, if we
They have to.
They have no choice but to if they want to keep their job at this point. At least if you're in America.
Not just to have, if they want to keep their job. If they want to do their job, they have to.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they're doing science, and then what are they doing outside of science, though?
Does it matter what they're doing outside of science as long as the science that they do is...
When you're doing your science, when you're doing your job, you have to do it and you have to forget all the other stuff. You have to just think science. Otherwise, you're not being scientific and you won't discover anything.
Yeah, exactly.
There's
Go to church outside of science.
Some good science to happen. You have to do the work, you know? God.
Yeah. You
And
have
it
to
doesn't
do the
matter.
work, and you have to publish.
It
That's
doesn't
what you have
matter
to
what
do.
the person thinks, as long as their scientific models are reliable and accurate.
Well, I don't know, but then what do they do? Take a kid to Sunday school and tell them the Noah's Ark is a true thing, and then Monday through Friday they're telling them the science?
I would.
Really, I don't know. Many scientists, as far as I'm concerned today,
This is a conflict that does not need to be, and it's stunting humanity.
So someone just made a statement.
Can I just point something out here? Not every theist is taking Noah's Ark literally.
And I think you're giving kids too little.
Are 5-year-old kids being taught that? I doubt it.
You kind of got to give them more credit.
Was. This is the point. I think what you're doing is you're conflating the term theist with biblical literalist or young earth creationist or floodist.
A flat earthist.
Yeah, I think that's what you're doing. And the theists come in a variety of different ways.
Isn't that a red flag right there?
What?
That there's so many different theists.
No, the point I'm making is this, is you can't say that every theist is teaching 5-year-old kids that Noah's Ark was real, because that isn't true. Not every theist is teaching 5-year-olds that. Neither would every theist teach 5-year-olds that.
And I agree with that. But I think that my main concern as an anti-theist and militant atheist is the overall effect of overall theism. That's my problem. And I did want to say something, though. Somebody said something a while ago about science, that it doesn't matter what the scientist thinks when it comes to doing their job, and I have to disagree with that and say that even a theist scientist is going to have to recognize that their bias cannot come into play with science.
Well, they do. Well, they do realise that if they were letting the bias come into play, they wouldn't be getting the stuff published. This is the point.
It's not just that. You know you've got biases, and that's why you have to have a regimen that tries to negate your bias. This is why we have the scientific method.
May I bring up a point? If you're a scientist and you come up with all this research is good for humanity, and then you turn around and you go against funding for science, then where are you at? Isn't that kind of schizophrenic?
But that's not.
But that would be true if you went against funding for science, would it not? But the point is that how many scientists do you know that have gone against funding for science?
Well, there's different kinds of scientists. So some scientists who are physicists or whatever, or they might hate funding certain sides of biology. That they might hate stem cell research, but they would love blood research. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
So so certain people are going to be biased. You have your own biases. This is the thing. That's why we have the scientific method, which is to put forward a hypothesis, work out a way to test it to prove it true and to prove it false, do those experiments and then test the evidence and see if it's reproducible. We have a scientific method that works. To sit and grave for something to happen, it's stupid. You know what I mean?
I fully agree. The problem is we have a sect of the population that applies theism with no methodology.
Yeah.
We have Ken Ham with a huge population that even calls themselves creation science.
And is ready to spend billions on a theme park.
And they're ready to take advantage of every scientific advantage that's there that is being produced through the scientific method. At the same time, they turn around and say the scientific method is bullshit and only God and prayer works and all that. So how schizophrenic you have to be a theist? You know what I mean?
Yeah, but you've got to remember again. You're saying theist.
But that goes back to the point, Fiona. If you're a theist, you by default you're believing in something that is known to be false. We know it's false.
And it's not rational, yeah, we get that, but it's not that we can't discriminate against these people.
You know it's false.
Well, discriminating. I mean, I guess that's a fine line between calling someone just, incorrect or wrong, or deluded. We get some of those words pop out. But how long is humanity going to put up with woo-woo? It's holding us back. It's killing us.
Yeah,
we have to come to grips with this.
But the thing is, I've got nothing against woo. I've got absolutely nothing against woo or religion. People can have their religion, they can have their woo, but just don't let control our society.
Well, I think that's kind of
exactly
with the woo and the religion. Let's use it the same way as we use sport, as a diversion. You know what I mean? Yeah.
In numbers, I would say that that's impossible, and that's why what I stated earlier about my position is directed to the overall effects of theism and the overall population of theists.
I just think that religion should have no more respect than X Factor or fucking Dances with the Stars. You know what I mean? That's it.
I agree. We still have flat earthers in the world. We can't get rid of them, but they've become completely marginalized. So we just have to do the same thing to the rest of religion. I mean, there's still a few hundred people on the planet that think the thing is flat. All right, there's nothing we can do about it.
Yeah,
so we can marginalize them, but not let them become political powerhouses, et cetera, et cetera.
Don't let them become president.
People do have the right to hold what beliefs they want to hold. The right stops where their beliefs start to impinge on those who don't hold the same beliefs.
Say that again. I missed.
People have the right to hold the beliefs that they want to hold. But the right to hold those beliefs ends where, in doing so, they impinge on the rights of others to not hold that belief.
I agree with that, and that actually, that is even true in regards to an atheist trying to do the same. So, it's very, very important to want to keep free thinking and want to keep the rights of people to be able to believe what they wish and to express what they wish.
Okay, on that note, I just want to interject here. I think this is Rictus's hangout. We should respect him, and because he would like to guide us back to the topic. Take it away there, Rictus. Get on your mic.
Well, this was somewhat, I guess, a little bit on topic, but it was very specific to scientists.
Yeah.
I've kind of come to a resolution. I mean, it's all what you can live with, I guess, and for fuck's sake, like, what am I supposed to do? Who the hell am I, anyways?
Give us a rant.
Oh, the rant! Oh, God.
That's what I came home for. I even turned down a client so I could come home in time.
No, if I put on the camera yesterday when I first saw that news, oh yeah, you would have saw something. Oh my!
Yeah,
I worked out a lot of my ranting on my drum kit today. Those
I really
two.
want to hear it, Rictus. Come on.
Oh Jesus Christ! That's the thing. I don't want to rant necessarily. Oh, it's.
I want to hear it. Damn it.
You want to hear it?
Pour myself another drink.
I don't know if I'm known to be a ranter. Am I known to be a ranter? In my comments, maybe.
Give it a try. It'll feel good.
It'll feel good.
Well, I think some of what he originally said before I came to the hangout was what intrigued me. Is what are we going to do about this? How do we react to this again?
Yeah. How do we react to this? Like really, without overstepping the line and becoming a fascist ourselves? Like.
Well, I think the issue is a lack of empathy for the people. Like these guys, they want the system to work a certain way, and they want to instate it by force, but they don't have enough empathy for people. Like, what if they were the minority? What if they were the Christians, and they were going, and their country was being taken over by another religion, or if they're the atheists?
Forgive me. What initiated this? I'm lost.
Cartoon drawings, basically. I'm assuming that's what we're talking about.
Well, we're talking about the killings that resulted from the cartoon drawings.
Can I just say that I think a lot of what we can do about this. I mean, as far as taking action, I'm not real sure on that. But as far as speaking about it and getting the information out there, if it wasn't for the internet, I would still be a theist right now. So I think that education plays a huge role in turning the tide, so to speak.
Social media for sure, I agree.
And I think we just gotta not really be scared to speak our minds out. If these are people who are gonna commit these violent acts, we have to make it clear that it's not okay, and that we shouldn't stand for it. So if it means calling people out on this kind of thing, even if they're threatening, sometimes it might be better to call them out. I mean, there might be a little bit of risk to it, but I think for some of us it could be worth it if we want to build a better society.
But you call people out, and you're called on the carpet for using the term that this is a religiously motivated thing. Let's address the religiously motivated thing. But you're called out on the carpet for that. You're called a racist, whatever the fuck that.
Well, there's an interesting thing going on with Ireland with the blasphemy thing. Blasphemy is really defined by how pissed off the other guy gets. If he's pissed off enough, it's blasphemy.
I would just like to say, how would they feel if you were living in Germany in 1938 and you couldn't speak out against your government because they would throw you into jail. But, we know what happened with that, and now people are saying, "Oh, we've got to have these blasphemy laws. Let's not upset people." Do you think that's going to appease them? They're just going to put more stringent laws into place until they tell you can't speak, think, or move unless you do it the way they tell you. You cannot give in to this. You know what I mean?
I must admit, I do think that the voice of the moderates within the same religion carry a bit more weight with the extremists.
I don't know.
I would disagree as far as the USA, not.
Yeah, because I'm thinking if an atheist or a Christian calls out these Muslim extremists, well, it's because you're infidels and you're not going to be listened to.
Yeah, I know.
But if the moderate Muslims and the various imams in mosques
were standing the imams in mosques, I agree with.
If they were standing up and saying, "This is wrong,"
well, the only way to get that to happen, the only way to get your guy in Iran, I don't know what do you call the head of Iran?
Him.
The only way to get him to turn on it and say the fatwas are done away with, we don't do that anymore, we don't murder people because they've upset us. The only way to do that is to do what we're doing now with Russia. You know what I mean? We actually absolutely crush their economy, and we make them pay so badly, you know, that they have to change their ways, you know. And I'm sorry to say, I mean, because I don't want people to suffer, but these people already, you know, they persecute their own people, and they want to bring that to our country. And if we have to force their country to suffer, you know, hardships until they change their ideology, we have to do it. You know what I mean?
I think
but the problem with that is if it's coming from outside. For example, America putting sanctions on them.
Well, how do you change Putin's mind?
Then all that's going to happen is, it's the great Satan trying to force us to do what they want.
Well, we can do what we did with Japan. We can bomb them with nuclear bombs, or we can cut them off from the rest of the world so they can't trade with us, and that means lots of people suffer. But there's only those two choices. How else do you get people to change their mind?
I'm not sure if you guys have seen Harris.
Another big problem, if you bomb people, who's going to decide who we're going to bomb? Are you going to decide that?
Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. But that's the only two choices we've got. We either bomb them like we did in the Second World War, right? Or we do what we're doing now, which is sanctions to crush them financially. You know what I mean? Which means that ordinary people within those countries suffer, and that actually spreads the ability for them to recruit people who want to hurt us back. So, but there's only those two ways of changing their minds, you know, at the top of these countries' organisations.
I say it's coming from within might help. If the imams, etc., are standing up and saying, no, this is wrong.
I disagree with that, because Sam Harris was just on the Young Turks, and he presented, of course, I haven't verified this, okay, so I'm just going to put that out there, but he stated a large population, a large percentage of the moderates are supporting Islam and the Islamic extremist movement.
Yes, and that's why I'm saying that if it's coming from within, then
well, what I was saying, I mentioned earlier, you know, if you were in Germany in 1938, you might have been a moderate German. You might have been a lovely person, you know, before Hitler took control. But once the Socialist Republic of Germany was set up, and you know that the brown shirts were on the street, you had to do what the state expected of you, or you could find yourself on a truck going somewhere that you didn't want to go.
And
in Iraq and Iran, you know what I mean? The state controls their lives, you know.
Well, you keep talking about Germany. In Germany, there were protests. There were people in schools and so on that protested against it.
Yeah, and they died for it. They did the same in China, Tiananmen Square. They did the same in Egypt, you know, and people died for it. But we still haven't changed Egypt even yet. You know what I mean?
But you got to support the protest. You cannot nuke people, or you cannot make a ban on a whole country. You have to support the people that actually want to have change.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to say that I've also read that science was once led worldwide by the Arabic nations, and look where they are now. They used to lead in science, and now look what they're leading in war.
The same thing happened during like the Dark Ages. I mean, Europe was. I mean, granted, they weren't like super advanced, but they were leading science. Catholicism takes over, and we plunge into the Dark Ages for a couple hundred years. That's just what religion tends to do.
It phases out science.
Which goes back to the entire premise earlier. Theism is not helping us across the board. Hasn't it throughout the entire course of history, and it isn't going to tomorrow.
I agree.
How we address it, how we deal with it is kind of what brought me here, and I have no idea.
Cause more damage than anything, and I just wanted to say real quick regarding the political correctness that you guys were kind of talking about, and how do you battle that, since these cartoonists are dying and everything, how do you speak out against it? And really, to me, it's going to take the voice of the people on the internet. That's the two tools that are going to have to be used, because of course the rest of the media is the only ones that are really promoting political correctness.
I agree. Social media. Every day's a Draw Muhammad day. I agree.
Yeah, but the problem is we have this problem with political systems. The American political system, they don't know whether we should have, freedom of the internet or not. So most people don't even know what freedom of the internet is going to be. But governments could shut down social media. I mean, God, it's not that long ago when certain places like Egypt and Iran and they shut down Facebook and Twitter and all.
That's
people
what religion
get
does.
out, you know what I
That's
mean?
freedom of speech and expression.
Yeah,
That's
but what I'm saying is, if they can do it in their countries, they could do it in our country. They could do it in America,
right.
They could do it in France, they could do it in Britain, you know what I mean? These people, if they wanted to, could shut down all your modern technology
They're
and
trying
social
to do
interactions, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're trying to do that. They're doing it here on YouTube.
Yeah.
But
govern how we can talk to each other, and if they can do it in our country that basically worships freedom of speech, just imagine how bad it is to live in China or North Korea or Iran, or fucking Georgia and or Russia. You know what I mean? Come on. But we're not talking about France. We're talking about the fucking world here. You know what I mean?
How many people are they? If they are 10 or 5% of the rest of the world, do you mean that 5% of the rest of the world can silence the rest of
2% of the world silences America. 2% of America silences America, you know what I mean? They buy all the politicians and they get them to vote against anything that helps the people, you know what I mean?
Of course they cannot. There's always a way to not make yourself silence. We have wonderful thing on the internet, for example, and you say they stop the internet. Yeah, we create another internet, create another space. If they are 10%, you can let 10% rule us.
Well, it doesn't take a lot of people to, for example, bring down a website. I mean, if one person really wanted to, they can bring down a website. I mean, you can effectively stop communication in that way. If you've got a group of people, you can take down a group of websites, or you can slow down web traffic.
Can you imagine what a government? Can you imagine what a government can do if it can just tell a satellite to not come over that country? You know what I mean? They can change the path of a satellite so it never goes across a country, and you can never get your GPS to work in that country because you're never in contact with 3 satellites at one time.
But you don't need to be religious.
The government is people, and people have access to other stuff and other ways to do things.
The government is people, and some people do what they're told to by the people who pay them to get elected. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but some people don't.
Yeah, not enough of them. Not enough. You know what I mean? You talk about 3 in 100 will turn around and say, stick it in your ass. The other fucking 97 will say, yes, we'll take your money and we'll do what you tell us. You know what I mean? That's the problem.
You are one of them. You are one of them. You sit there screaming, saying that people don't do enough. Get more people to do like you, scream and say that.
I'm telling you, you can't even see what's going on in the world already. You know what I mean? How many people have got the pension that they paid for? No, in Britain, in France, in America, they paid for a pension, and every year the government came in and says, that pension that we promised you would get for all that money you paid, we're going to reduce it. We're going to reduce it, and we're going to reduce it. By the time you get your pension, it's like 2/3 of what you say they promised you were going to get for the money you paid. You know what I mean? So how does that work out? You know what I mean? Governments give back money for nothing, but you pay your money and the government takes money off you. You know what I mean?
If everybody talks at once, nobody's going to get heard here. Come on, we got listeners too, eh?
Yeah, I'm not really interested actually in economics and stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought we
well,
came here to discuss Islam.
Yeah, I really could care less about economics. Money
But
isn't
it's all
real.
the same shit. Economics
But
or
you talk like the state is the bad thing.
It's not the
or-
state.
Then what is the bad thing? If you think the state is bad, or you don't think the state is bad, do something about it. Do your little part.
Yeah, that brought me to the question: is why aren't more atheists in positions of power in politics and such?
Have you seen the polls?
Because nobody
People
will
don't
vote
trust
for you.
atheists.
They don't trust them.
Yeah.
Well,
I
less
mean-
trusted than murderers and rapists, you know what I mean? Fuck's sake.
I live in Kansas, and
Hello.
like
Why not atheists in the power? Because if you have a society where, say, 15 or 16 or maybe 17% of the people are Christians, of course there will be more Christians in power than it will be atheists. It's logic. It's nothing more than that.
Well, who
You
says
cannot-
the atheists have to be openly atheist in order to get in those positions?
But you've talked, but now you screw it up again. You say, why isn't an atheist in power? Yes, because of that. If you have a majority of people that are religious, you have a problem if you are not religious.
Yeah.
That is the problem. So what atheists have to do is have to be more atheists if we want to have. The thing is, we don't have to have more atheists in power. We have to have more smart people in power. We have more people that actually take smart decisions. Not if they are religious, Buddhists or Christians or.
You disregarded
Islam.
what I said. You didn't even hear what I said, did you? You just wanted to speak.
What? Okay, tell me what you say.
If you listened the first time, you would have heard it.
You said, why isn't this atheist in government and in this
So now we're talking about
wasn't
politics.
that what we talked about? Or
Do you see my point here? Everybody's talking at each other, and that's not a conversation around a coffee table.
I don't know.
no, but you said, why isn't there atheists in government and so on? And then I told you that because there are so many Christians in many countries, of course there are not many atheists in government.
Yeah,
It is
demographics.
democracy.
It's just saying it's by pure numbers. There's 80% theists. We're gonna have a hard time getting in, but yeah, more of us need to get in. That's for sure.
So what didn't I hear?
Well, I can only speak for myself, and I would not vote based on whether someone was a theist or an atheist.
Yeah.
Well, Britain,
I would
if someone
be
starts
voting.
spouting their religion, they probably nobody would vote for them. That's the way the
Well,
British
one thing
people
you have
are.
to-
You shouldn't talk about that sort of thing in British society. That's the sort of thing that's for private conversation, not something you publicise to the press. But in America, it's like people go out there and on the stump, and they're thumping about, oh, God, and I support God, and all this, and it's like that gets them elected in America, and the city have totally forgot the whole idea of the separation of church and state, and in fact they don't even acknowledge there is a declaration of separation of church and state, even though the founding fathers specifically wrote letters defending and expounding on the idea of the separation of church and state. Apparently it doesn't exist, you know what I mean? And you're supposed to be a white fucking Protestant in America, or you shouldn't be elected, you know what I mean? In fact, I think even some presidents have said that atheists shouldn't even vote.
See, that's the thing. Like, religion is run rampant in the United States. It's really virile there. It's and like you said, the demographics are like the majority are Christian, but like you said as well, Terse, it's entrenched in their constitution that no, you're not supposed to do this. So they have to unfortunately, nobody has a backbone in the States for people who will stand up for the Constitution.
Yeah,
Nobody,
brother.
none of those politicians have a single fucking spine amongst them when it comes to actually doing their job.
It's hard to.
Because they're funded by the
back, though.
fundies. That's why.
So it's really sad. I find it amazing. Over 200 years after the experiment started, people still have prayers at the beginning of their government. So fuck your prayers, fuck your invocations, fuck your.
Why the hell are you wasting time on that
You're a
shit?
secular nation.
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? You're a secular nation. By word
I
alone.
have to agree with you on that. I
Anyway.
have to agree with you on that one.
So, how many of you guys live in really conservative areas?
I live in Arizona, so that sort of counts. It's we really get a lot of crazy people that live around here.
I live in the middle of Texas, so yeah, I'm with.
Oh, hold on. I can probably beat that. If you want to know, guess who lives in my home state? And his church is only like 10 miles away from my house. Pastor Steve Anderson. You guys know who that is, right?
You know who Louis Gohmert is?
Yes, I
I
know.
live in Canada. 24% atheism.
I live in Kansas. I live, I believe I'm about 40 miles from the Westboro Baptist Church.
Okay,
So-
you win. You win.
I've seen them protest. They are really fucking crazy.
So my point in asking that was, the reason that not a lot of people campaign against the interweaving of government and church is because, for one thing, the clause is interpretable where you could say church should have influence over state. I disagree, but you can interpret it that way.
No, it cannot be interpreted that way.
Well.
It just can't be interpreted that way. You would have to be fucktardily redundant in your ability to understand what people mean with words. To understand that, it should mean, the complete reverse of what it says. The government cannot, in any respect, recognise one religion against any other.
We're dealing
That's
with
what it
irrational
says,
people here, so.
Yeah.
And for the question, I am from Sweden, so for me the whole discussion is like, what?
That's what I'm saying. In Scotland, we have a state religion. You know what I mean? We don't have the problems of a country that says that there should be no state religion. You should have had a bloody state religion. You'd have probably got rid of religion by now in America.
Yeah, the thing is,
That's what every other country's done that has a state religion. You know what I mean? They got rid of it.
I was going to mention all nations should take example from Sweden and maybe take some notes,
Yeah, The thing is with Sweden, we actually have a state religion, but not actually, but somewhat. But the thing is, religion in Sweden, so far, I hope they will stay that way, is more a personal thing. You believe in, say, Satan or God or Buddha. Believe in Buddha is a contradiction, but anyway, and that is what we do in a personal sphere, and the government isn't about that. Yes, we have a Christian party, but it's more like they make rules for all the people, and religion has nothing to do with that. Then we believe in many things. We have even cults that believe in Thor, but they do that on their free time. And then they go to vote and say, we will have an equal society. Yeah, we are social democrats, as we call it in Sweden, and we have an equal society. And then we go look for Thor in the sky and so on. But in America,
that's my friends, is how a country should be run.
One of the things I find very ironic about the States is originally when people were starting to come over, it was because they were trying to avoid religious persecution, and now it's one of the biggest religious persecution areas in the world.
Yeah.
I don't think you understand.
The founding fathers were sitting there looking at this blank piece of paper, and they looked back at Europe and went, holy fucking shit, we're glad we're gone from that bullshit. Let's write something down that maybe will help that not happen ever again. Maybe this will help. But no, it didn't. I don't
And then
that also, I don't think they anchored it with the people. They wrote that thing, and then people were like, "Yeah, we are really blah." And then the thing is, if you want democracy to work, you have two things you have to do. Everyone should be equal, regarding race, regarding whatever, money, blah 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 blah, and you don't put in religion. You cannot favor one religion. You have to say that everyone will have the religion they have to have, want to have, need to have, but you can't favor one of them, because
And
then you are not a democracy.
Ping, I got a question for you.
Hmm?
I got a question for you.
Yeah?
How do they handle the weaker part of the population, like in Sweden? Like the disabled, handicapped, all that. Single mothers.
I have two things to say about that. The first thing is that when we began for a couple of years ago, then we had a well service system for everyone, and everyone that was sick we paid taxes to actually have health care and so on. That's why we pay taxes. Then now we have been inspired by USA. Fucking shit. Sorry. And now people begin to say that, whoa, I want to pay taxes. I want to earn my money for myself. The problem with that is that, yeah, but when you are sick, you don't earn money. So then you don't get help. So that we, in the moment, we are something in between. I hope we can get back to the fact that we pay a lot of taxes.
I have something that's quite important to say about that as well. I don't know if you know much fiction about Britain. Britain isn't one country; it's 4 countries.
Yeah, I'm aware of that.
It's in a union, and the only country that still holds true to the National Health Service principle of everybody gets free health care at point of need. You know what I mean? If you walk in your car, please give me help. The only country that still holds to that and actually takes money from other places in its social service to uphold that is Scotland. We are socialists in Scotland, and I'm not scared to say that.
Actually, you know what? That's not the only country. Canada here. We have a system in place too. It's called OHIP.
Yeah.
You could be a guy on the street and still get health care.
Oh yeah, but that's true. That's true in England. But the thing is, in England, you go in and they've got to give you health care. You know what I mean? But you might sit on a chair for 9 hours before
Say that
you
again?
get seen.
I'm not understanding what you said.
You might in England you might sit for 9 hours before you get your stitches, whereas in Scotland you will get it within 4 hours. This is the thing. It's like, how much money are you willing to take from? I mean, why does Britain want to spend another £1 trillion on fucking nuclear bombs and nuclear submarines and nuclear airplanes? Why the hell we're not fighting Russia? Why do we have to upgrade our nuclear bombs? The only reason to do that is so that it's David Cameron now. David Cameron can go and sit at the fucking G8. You know what I mean?
Well, to get back kind of to what the original topic was, this is where the problem with some of the moderate theists is. They might not be as obnoxious as the fundies, but they still, a lot of them, and I'm not going to say all of them, a lot of them still vote according to what they believe in, and that's why we have problems that we do. And no matter how you want to sugarcoat it, no matter how much you want to polish that turd, which is their idea, it's still a turd.
Yeah.
I think
individual political ideas. No, I'm not going to support something I know is good because I've got to support something which I know that I'm supposed to because of my cultural and religious sort of affiliation. So, because of your religious and political affiliation, you will vote against something which you know is going to be good for your kids and your grandparents. You know what I mean?
But unfortunately, the majority wins the vote.
Yeah, and that's where a true democracy is really not such a good idea, because you're going to be going according to mob rules if that's the case. But yeah,
that's unfortunately where that stopgap
But
whole
on
thing
the other hand,
is. Where that
Whoa,
stop
Bing! Victus was talking. Stop.
where that stopgap is in the Constitution is supposed to be is, it's supposed to stop rule by the tyranny by the majority, because it's supposed to be that even if one person in the whole place doesn't believe a certain thing and all the other people believe the same thing, well, they cannot force that one person in any way, shape, or form to follow what they have to say, especially by government. So that's the thing. But it's really hard to practice that, because you have to set aside those feelings and beliefs about what you think is moral or immoral and all this kind of stuff, which is a lot of what the issues are has to do with, quote unquote, what some theists quote unquote call morality, which isn't morality at all.
But that's all bullshit. We all know what morality is. You feel morality. It's not a thing you think about. You feel it.
Yeah, I know. But a lot of the stuff revolves around that, where they're not going to vote for somebody if that person's going to vote and say, yeah, why not same-sex marriage? Let's have that.
See, the poison.
You made a different word might apply, not necessarily morality. It's who's offended. I'm offended. And then that changes your.
It's not even about offended. It's going back to bullshit. Like, well, it says in the Bible here that this is an abomination. Yeah, and they will spend fucking 15 minutes out of every half hour on TV, on certain TV stations, telling you how abomination that is. You know what I mean? But they won't tell you anything about how abominated it is to eat fucking shellfish.
Well,
or for your teenage kids to fucking swear at you, or for you to wear fucking a piece of fucking clothing which is made from cotton and wool. You know what I mean? No, you can't be stoned for that, but you can be stoned for being gay and wanting to get married. I mean, why are these people so fascinated with fucking sex and what goes on in your private bedroom when we should be caring about what the fuck goes on in the street outside the house? You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? Come on.
But we was talking about democracy. Democracy isn't only the majority. It's also one voice, everyone is equal, and so on, and every voice is interested. So democracy isn't only mob rules. If you have a democracy system, you also have to listen and care about the minority. That is what democracy is.
Yeah.
And if you take mob rules, these are a totally different thing. Democracy is one voice, everyone is equal.
Yeah, but I think democracy also is based on the fact of an educated populace. You should be educated in the decisions, the choices that are incorporated in the decisions that you have to make. This is what I understood when I was growing up as a child. Democracy isn't just the fact that you can make a choice. Democracy is to be educated enough to understand the different and be able to differentiate between the choices that you have. You know what I mean? This or that. You know what I mean? The problem we have with a lot of our populace at the moment is they're not educated enough to be able to make a decision. A qualified decision that would be either good for them or the people that they love. And this is the problem. They are uneducated. They are disenfranchised from reality, and they have been fed so much disinformation that they don't know what choices are actually open to them.
Okay, Terse, have a drink now.
That's a sad thing about what you're talking about there, Terse, is a lot of them are not only ignorant, they're willfully ignorant. They're content with not wanting to learn everything because, well, they have a pastor that's going to speak for them and tell them what's what. And
well, they're proudly ignorant, too, because they listen to Fox News, and there it is.
Oh, God.
That's a part of it, too.
I'll tell you, there's times when Fox News is funnier than Comedy Central. I mean,
my dad, Fox News. He not only slurped the Fox News Kool-Aid, he guzzled it. He was poor. I couldn't get this across to him. It was just like, oh, just fucking kill me if I have to listen to this any longer.
liberal as an insult. And I told him I was a liberal. He goes, "You're a horrible liberal. What are you going to do next? Communism."
That's why I like to consider myself a centrist, because I think a better system incorporates both socialism and democracy and capitalism. It's a mixture of everything. You know, take all the good ideas, put it together, and say, okay, this might actually work. The problem with the American experiment, though, is the influence of money and religion in our politics. And it was money first, then religion snuck its way in.
And that's what I was trying to say. In all times, I interjected really quickly. Uncle Jim, you get... And...
I've been having a little bit of practice lately. I don't usually do hangouts, but the past couple days I've been kind of getting the itch.
Yeah. Well, I haven't done one in I used to do a Thursday hangout every Thursday, like for over a year. I did that. I haven't done it for a year now.
Okay, Rickus, I'm going to help you out a little bit. Anytime the conversation is flowing nice now, but if people start talking over each other and just a bunch of jumble bullshit, I'm going to gong, okay?
Okay, the gong.
And then you're going to take over, right?
And if anybody wants to, the image that I'm using right now, you can go ahead and take that and draw your own picture of Muhammad. It's my DIY blasphemy photo, so have at it, have fun, draw them any way you want.
Here's an idea. Here's a case in point. You're talking about this drawing Muhammad thing, which brings us back to Paris and the whole Shari Edron, was it? Edron? I forget what the whole name of it.
Yeah, I have a hard time with the last name too.
The magazine is, I don't even know how it's spelled. So
Charlie Hebron or something like that.
Okay, so they're upset. They were upset supposedly that this image of Muhammad was drawn. Okay, these people have taken one of the doctrines of Islam, talking about making graven images or drawings and all this kind of stuff, to the nth degree, because throughout history, in Islam itself, they have drawn. There's hundreds of photos. I've seen them online of paintings that are hundreds of years old, painted by Muslims that say this is Muhammad and this is his wife and this is. They did it themselves. Hundreds. They've been doing it all the time.
And worse than drawings. Look at what they're doing. They're chopping heads off in the name of Allah.
I know. But
I think that's way more offensive than any fucking drawing.
As I understand it,
I'm trying to think, like, there's where's this line? You got the same law, you got the same doctrine, you got one person interpreting it like this, and you got another person interpreting it like this. Well, who the fuck am I supposed to listen to, and how am I supposed to react to either or? Because they're both the same to me.
Well, this is why you need to go and listen to some of the people who are what you would call historians of religion, and I'm not talking about just religious historians, because that's a different thing. Because you get people who are Catholic historians, they only look at the history of Catholicism. I'm talking about historians who studied religion before Catholicism. You know what I mean? They actually start to study humanity and his understanding of what he thinks of as religion, you know, gods and all that, you know, Thor and everything, you know. When you go back and you look at the Muslims, when they were going through the period of, you know, somebody I think said earlier on that they were the height of, you know, science at one time, when they took all everything they could find from the Greek books, and then they expanded on it, and you know, there were great astrologers and mathematicians and all that. Yeah, they were fantastic back then, but then a certain sect came into power and says, no more of that, no more painting images, no, you have to follow this one true understanding, this one true past of the book, you know, and you get religious sects in the Christianity that say this is the only way you can read this passage in the Bible. You get these people that you can only read it and see it this way, otherwise you're not a true Christian. You know, no true Scotsman fallacy. It exists everywhere in every religion around the fucking world. You know,
That's why I think the term Christianish or Muslimish or theish
As I understand it,
better
within
because I mean it's so wishy-washy to me. It's because that's the thing. Both sides. Hey, if you took those scriptures, both sides, they both have a case because you can read anything you fucking want to out of these things.
as I understand it, with the Muhammad picture is that for the Muslims here is that you cannot worship Muhammad, you must worship Allah, and that's why, as I understand it, is why you cannot picture picture Muhammad because then you worship him, and then they have made it to something else. They have made it to something that you cannot ever make a picture because then you are stupid and then I blow you up. And that,
that's the thing.
like,
That's in their hadith. That's in their teachings.
In the beginning, but in the content of the Quran is made as God is the real thing, Muhammad is only the preacher, and that in the beginning it was let's say a good thing, but then they have misused it now, as I understand it from people that study the Quran.
I've looked at it and seen it in a different way. I think the idea of never picturing Muhammad or Allah, I think that was I think in the beginning originally it was meant so that you would never have a ideologically depiction of him, that people could then say that, well, I look like Muhammad, and therefore I am special. The way that some people now, we still argue about that Jesus was born in Egypt, should be black, but now he's portrayed as white in white countries, and that causes conflagration,
Well,
and,
if it's anything like the Baptists.
Can I just finish? I'm just trying to get to this point here. I think it was set up as a thing to stop people from having confrontations and arguments about stuff, which has ended up having the reverse effect. And when you look at the Catholics as well, I think they had that same idea with the idea with Jesus and all that. That would stop arguments and stuff. But that's caused a lot of conflagration with them as well, with the crucifixion and the rising for the dead, which was never in the original religion, the idea, but it was all sort of fitted in there later, to try and make people come together rather than fight. People still fight.
So how do we get rid of this theist worm that's invaded humanity? How do we get rid of it? How do we get rid of this goofy thing?
I actually don't think we can. I don't think we can get rid of it. But
Can we
I
at
think
least reduce it to a point where it's like a flat Earth society?
Effective education.
Social
that's the
media,
core.
draw Muhammad.
I think
no.
Forget the thing is, everybody believes in things. Even atheists believes in things that they don't know. Persons believe, mankind believes in things. But what we can do is to make belief one thing and fact another. That is what we have to educate people to.
Because there are things that we know. Those are the things we should embrace.
Yes,
But the problem is, you don't know if you walk the street tomorrow and you are going to walk across the street. You don't know if you're going to be hit by a car. You think you know, and you hope you know because of experience and blah 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 blah. You cannot eradicate belief.
But we still do whatever we can to prevent it from happening, correct?
Yeah,
so what? That's kind of not.
It has nothing to do with belief. It has to do with action.
Right. It's not like I'm going to pray before I go across the street and hope God gets me there.
Right.
Well, this kind of brings to mind some people that they bring up that they say, well, everybody has irrational beliefs. Yes, this is true. This is very true. But I wish to be
not everybody. Speak for
I
yourself.
wish to be disavowed.
Yeah, everybody. Yeah.
Hang on, wait, because I'll explain. I have a really irrational belief. I really do, because I have this anxiety disorder. It's called somnophobia. at times terrified of fucking sleeping. I'm a very rational person, but I literally am terrified of laying down and closing my eyes.
Maybe
I
you
am
scared
so
of your
anxious. I'm
dreams or
freaked
something,
out.
you know?
I cannot sleep for weeks at a time because of this. It's
But
completely irrational. I would like to be
that's a
disavowed of it.
condition, though, Rictus. That's
I
not
know,
a
but I'd
belief.
like to be disavowed of it. You know, if it's an irrational thing, I'd like to be disavowed of it.
I would just like to say that I think
I know
that
it is.
Knoll-
I know it is.
Well,
A
actually,
condition of sorts,
first
but
step is you recognize it.
you know, like
I would just like to say, I think we can all agree that there is things that, as far as we're aware, with our present level of technology, there are things that we will never know, and a couple of them are how the universe started, how life started, and what is the purpose of life. Right? Although I think I know what the purpose of life is, I can't prove it, right? But so there's at least 3 things I know that everybody should be able to agree we don't know, right? And probably will never know in our lifetimes. And yet these are some of the 3 things that people most argue about all the fucking time.
And Rictus,
Why is that? You know what I mean?
Rictus, can I address your concern there?
Yeah.
What, as a rational-minded person, once you identify something that's irrational, then rationally don't you try to fix that problem or go to someone who can help you fix that irrational
I do.
belief?
Yeah, I do actually. I try to
Okay.
do things while
And
I'm going through it. I try to do things that.
So there you go. So you don't continue to hold that irrational belief, do you?
Exactly. I don't want to, but what I'm saying is some people say that everybody holds irrational beliefs, so don't blame a theist for holding an irrational belief. It's
But
like,
why not? It's
there's
indoctrination.
many
It's
theists
not
who
really a
want
belief.
to
It's an indoctrination. It's indoctrination.
I did not say
He
that.
wasn't indoctrinated to think, that something bad's going to happen when he goes to sleep.
No!
It's an irrational fear.
Stop interrupting, because now you're misunderstanding what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I didn't say that he was indoctrinated to have a fear to fall asleep. I didn't say that.
No.
So stop jumping on the woman in the room here.
He said it was a
I'm not
condition.
indoctrinated for sleeping. I am.
But that's what he was saying.
It's a condition. In a way, it's not a choice because I don't have a choice in the matter. And
No, but you do know you have a choice to get help with that matter, correct? Rationally speaking.
It's no more any choice than I have a choice of having PTSD.
Yeah.
I won't have PTSD till the day I die. You just learn to deal with it.
And I will be hyperactive and ADHD to the day I die too. But I adjust. I
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the problem is
Hey, I was talking, man.
Hang on, Teresa.
I get more than fucking 30 seconds if you get 5 minutes. God damn it. So listen. Now I lost my train of thought. Oh, listen. I have ADHD. I'm pretty sure of it. Almost everybody that meets me thinks that. I've yet to be diagnosed with it, but I think what the thing is I've adjusted my own with a rational mind that I have. I recognize it when it gets out of control or out of order for me, and then I try to train myself to adjust to that, so that it isn't out of control. Some people need help with that. I've helped myself with a rational mind with that. So, I mean, if I were to start getting fears of falling asleep, then if I can't help myself, I would go to someone who I think could help me, or at least keep trying until something works, right?
Well, yeah, I've looked up stuff because I've been going through this ever since I was a little kid. I've had these episodes ever since I was a kid.
But I think we missed something. I'm bipolar probably, so I also have problems with things like that. But I think we missed something here, because I think religion isn't about having bipolar or blah blah blah.
I didn't say that. King, I didn't say that. That's why I spoke up.
Wait a minute. I didn't say that to say that. I didn't say no. Yeah, but the thing is, I think if we have many problems in our lives that we don't.
Everybody has problems.
Yeah, no, wait.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I
okay, it's
I
okay.
sat quiet for a fucking hour, and I don't want to be misunderstood or misquoted. Okay,
I mean,
sorry.
I don't misquote you. I don't misunderstand it, but I try to say something. But it's okay. For me, I'm Buddhist not because I know that we reincarnate, not because I know that karma is right, blah blah blah. Because I know actually that science say that we have no evidence for karma, we have no evidence for reincarnation, and I'm fine with that.
Mm-hmm.
I see it more like a possibility that it can be that, and that is what for me religion is the possibility beyond science, and if we can hold religion to that is the problem as I see it. If you hold religion till possibility,
I disagree. That just leaves the door wide open for Wu to just grab hold and run.
Huh?
Disagree there.
I like what you
Well,
said.
to me, the idea of speculation beyond that kind of stuff is healthy. Speculation, as long as we realize that we're just speculating. We can't shriek, "I struck gold," because we're just speculating. Unfortunately, many people shriek, and a lot of them are theists, shriek that "I struck gold, there is a God." Period.
Yeah.
I totally
It's like,
Because of the
speculation is fine and
indoctrination.
healthy.
Indoctrination tells them to do that, though.
I know.
And then they go from that to
that is
extremism is what we're, and then see all the murders that are taking place and everything else because of someone else practicing that same freedom and right of expression.
Yeah.
It's as the phrase goes, it's okay to have your head in the clouds as long as your feet stay on the ground.
Yeah.
It's okay. I mean, you can. I mean, like a few days ago, I was in a hangout and I was just speculating on what would be kind of cool if, you know, if there was kind of like an afterlife type thing where you could, like, if you get bored with it, you can go away for a few million years and come back. Yeah, that'd be cool. Does it exist? Probably not, but it'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, I think so.
I just want to say in closing, because I'm on my way out, please, can I just say one last thing, because I got to go?
Yep.
I fucking hate anything in the extreme. Because when you go so far that you have to be extreme about something, then it's fucking bullshit.
I extremely fucking hate anything extreme.
Hey, Fiction Fighter, if you don't want to go skydiving, that's up to you, but I'm going.
I love you, Fiction. I just friended you, and friended you, followed you, and I got all our detail. So I'll catch her next time we're on Hangout. No, that's good. We're all. Sorry, on you go. You've not spoken tonight, Pilgrim. On you go.
Who's going to talk there?
Well, I was gonna try and get in there a little bit ago when you were talking about the, well, how do we treat what's going on here? And the thing I was going to add to that is, are we going to treat the symptom, or are we going to treat the actual cause of the symptom?
I like
because
that.
the fact of the matter is as primates, we are fearful by nature of what we don't know.
Yep.
Okay, when we first came out of the caves and looked out, there was a lot we didn't understand. And the first two people came out, the guy had a club and the other one had like a religious woo stick. The guy with the club figured out, well, I'm having a hard time convincing all these other guys to come on out and build our village. And he looked over at the religious guy and saw, well, he wasn't having a hard time, convincing them to do this, that, and the other thing. So he hit the religious guy over the head, took his stick, and now he has the club and the religious stick, and now they're listening to him. The point I'm trying to make, I guess, is that religion and politics has not been divorced from one another for very long in our walk on this planet. It's only recently that atheists have actually found an open platform where they can speak without being persecuted.
This is also true.
Here in the States, we might not be getting stoned or burned at the stake, but if you speak out, you still have a high probability that you are going to have a hard time finding work. And You know, so people have to be careful with what they say and everything like that. And the problem is religion is so rooted into our very being of who we are and what we are evolved socially that it's going to take a very long time for us to actually treat the problem.
Yeah, America's entrenched pretty deep. There's no question. Yeah, America's...
same thing with Muslim countries. I mean, they're just as entrenched.
True.
Yeah, could I just speak to what you just said there?
Sure thing.
Talk to the hand.
No, this is an old symbol. It's an old symbol from the old Hangouts where you put your hand up to say, no, I've got something to say. We just don't use it. Nowadays, everybody just fucking says, ah, and shouts in. It used to be you put your hand up to say, I've got something to say, and whoever's moderating the fucking, the Hangout would say, so-and-so speaks next, and so, and everybody would do what the person who set the hang-up. No, but don't obey any fucking rules anymore. You young people don't obey any fucking rules. You know what I mean?
What part of the problem is?
Let me finish what I was going to say there. I was going to put it. Yeah, you said there that the guy with the club, clubbed the guy with the woo-woo stick and nicked his woo-woo stick, and then he's got the club and the woo-woo stick. But I think a way back there wasn't a woo-woo stick. People just had clubs. That's all they had. All they had was tough survival. And
sooner or later, one
person came about.
One person figured out how to mentally outfox the other guy with some woo-woo.
Yeah. Can you let me finish?
And then the club was working for the woo-woo man.
Oh my God! Can you let me finish?
If you could speed up a little bit, that'd be great.
I'm getting there. I called myself terse as like a sort of satirical, play on words. Because I am not terse. It takes me fucking forever to get anywhere. Especially when people keep interrupting me. You know what I mean? Anyway, right, so I am not terse, right? So anyway, yeah, so a way back, people didn't have brains, it took them forever to fucking do anything, you know what I mean? And they clubbed their way through life, you know what I mean? And eventually when they started to fall small villages, eventually, intelligence came into it, and one intelligent person might have come up and said, well, the way for me to fucking, control things and make things better would be to introduce a bit of woo, So when the sky, clouded over, he knew there was going to be lightning, and he would say, oh, the lightning's going to come, it's going to start fires and stuff, And when people seen that his words came true, he had the truth stick, you know what I mean? And that's, I think, where religion started, and it's where all our fucking dark fears of darkness and thunder and lightning and all that. I think it's all hereditary. It all comes down through all that. You know what I mean? And so we started off with clubs. We went into the woo, and we've been stuck with woo until now. And now we're trying to use our brains to get the fuck out of it. Let's stop listening to the woo and just let's use the woo the same way we use fucking heavy rock. You know what I mean? At the weekend you go into your little cupboard and you pray your fucking heart out. You know what I mean? And other people go to the nightclub and they rock the fucking night away. You know what I mean? Let's get religion down to that level. I'll be happy as fuck.
That'd be great.
You know what I mean?
Yo, Billy, you wanted to say something?
Oh, I was just going to add to that. Yeah, the guy with the club, not necessarily meaning the guy with the woo stick had to actually have a woo stick, but he had woo that was working a lot better than the club.
Right.
And the guy with the club figured out that, if I had that woo and this club, I would be able to control a hell of a lot more people.
So, what if I have a woo noodle?
Really powerful noodle.
The power of pasta compels you.
Yeah, I have a feeling if you have a woo noodle, you've got a piece of the flying spaghetti monster, and it's proof.
Or what if you just use your club to control the guy who's got the woo and tell him what to tell the people who believe he's woo? You know
Those sound very simple.
Well, the point behind the woo in the club is that if you don't listen to the woo, you're going to get hit with the club, and that club is the promise of hell.
And the woo can protect you from the club.
Yeah, so yeah, you back in primitive days that was easy to get away with, but now with the invention of the internet and the free flow of information because of that, it's very difficult for these guys with the woo in the club to keep control because people are getting better information.
Well, kind of like what
It's
happened.
also much harder to tie somebody to a stake and burn them when it's against the law. You know what I mean?
Oh, well, all except for over in Saudi Arabia where they can chop your head off, and there's a guy getting ready to get 1,000 lashes because he dared speak out against religion.
Everybody in the West fucking hates that shit. You know what I mean?
And don't deny it. If it was still legal, the Christians would be doing it too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You can't burn people at the stake anymore, but we would still be doing it in fucking Britain and America if it wasn't against the law.
Now I'm like, the Christians are not a lump of people. Sorry, but it's to say that the Asians will club people because blah blah. Christians are hundreds and thousands of people. They have different beliefs. They have different things they believe. Some Christians make very good efforts. They make support others and so on. So it's like this is also. It's a bit like, yeah, if Christians rule, then they club everyone. Of course they will not. Christians are people too.
They did in the past. They did in the past when they people ran.
But communists did in the past. They wasn't Christian. They were actually not Christians at all.
They were very religious.
People have a tendency to do things. We cannot blame Christianity. We have to blame people. We have to blame what they do, and we have to seek out the problems that they do.
That's what I'm saying. It's not about Muslims or religion or it's humans. As human beings, we are just fucking apes, and it doesn't take much to get a bunch of them to become a bunch of apes and kill someone for some retarded, stupid fucking ideology. You know what I mean? It doesn't take much. You know what I mean? A few fucking words, and that's it. People are, let's take them one from women and eat babies, Human beings are fucking retarded, and we have to control ourselves.
Yeah, and the problem is, as I see it, if we treat every Christian as if they are evil or something because we don't believe in the omnipresent God that Christians do, then we have a problem. We are not going to reach any Christian that way. Because
we don't need to reach these Christians. We just need to.
We have to reach
laws to say that people like Hannity, Bubble Railway, and what's that 999 Club can't talk to people. We make it illegal for the 999 Club to fucking talk to people. You know what I mean? That's it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Wait a minute.
I need to break in when I get a minute.
If 60 to 75% of the people are Christians, then we have to reach Christians in the nation where there is so.
You can go ahead. I'm sorry, Ping, I have to disagree with you. I live in Arizona, where they would, if they got the chance, they would kill you. I've had my life threatened by it. That doesn't mean all Christians are like that. Unfortunately, if you look into the Dominionist movement, they would be perfectly willing and acceptable to make America a theocracy, and that would be exactly what they're doing in the Middle East right now.
Yeah, but the problem is that if you're going to make that not happen, you have to reach those Christians that don't want to make that blah blah that you say, because if you don't, you cannot change. Then the only thing you can do is war. But if you make Christians that actually believe the same thing,
we're back to the moderates. We're back to the moderates supporting the fundamentalists.
Yeah, I gave you the two choices. You've got to stop them.
The thing is, but you have to. Can I say?
Guess who's in power right now in the U.S.?
Yeah, but
fundamentalist Christians.
Yeah. Yeah, but should you nuke them so there are no Christians?
No, we need to educate them.
Then how do you make a solution to it?
How do you address it?
Pass a law saying that people like fucking, what do you call him from the 999 Club or the 990 Club? What's his fucking name?
But
that
you are
whole-
a minority, so how
and
can
you
you
stop
change
Fox
and...
News being able, you make it illegal for people who say they're a news station to tell fucking lies. You make it illegal. You know what I mean? For people who are Christians or the Pope,
is
you make it
illegal.
illegal for the Pope to be broadcast on every TV station around the world.
How
You know
can
what
how can a minority that are about 10 to 20% of the country make it illegal to say that Christianity is good? It don't work that way. You have to have the Christians agree with you if you're going to make that happen.
I, for one, don't want to see it made illegal. I want to see people better educated because, like I said, I think we're looking at the symptom and not the actual problem. I know you don't want to generalize Christians, but they all believe in the same book. And the same book says that in order for them to get their heaven on earth, this earth has to pass away.
Yep.
It doesn't matter if you consider yourself a moderate or not. The book of Revelation is still relevant to what you believe in.
Yeah.
But then you have
theirs is a book of bad ideas, and they need to be shown that it's a book of bad ideas.
But if you are a minority, how do you educate? You cannot ban the book. You cannot do anything. Wait. What you can do is educate them that want to listen.
Ban them. The Flat Earth Society is plenty happy to exist. There's 200 or 300 of them. The Flat Earth Society is not banned. They can believe the Flat Earth all they want. They've just been marginalized out of existence. It's the same thing that should happen with the idea.
Oh yeah, it's the same. You know, we change the rules and the laws of broadcasting every fucking day for porn. You know what I mean? For all that crap. Why can't we do it for religion? Why can't we say that you cannot broadcast religious services on the TV? Please let me finish. You cannot broadcast religious services because it's against other religions that Christians have all the fucking airwaves. You know what I mean? And Muslims can't get any airwaves. So let's say you ban religion from the airwaves. You can only teach religion by word of mouth. The way that Jesus originally taught it. You have to go and talk to someone. You cannot broadcast it on the TV or on the internet. That's a law. You pass that law, and every religion has to have it applied to them. And then you don't have people broadcasting religion across the fucking world over the internet and over the TV. You know what I mean?
Can't do it.
Can't do it. Of course you can fucking do it.
No, you can't do that.
You could do it.
That's
You're not saying you can't fucking preach, but you have to preach the way Jesus preached. You have to preach the way Muhammad
has never ever worked. Prohibition and control has never ever worked. Education. This is a multi-generational thing.
Yeah, education is the key.
Yes.
Education is the key. You can't censor people because you don't agree with what they say. All you can do is present facts and continue to present facts.
That's it.
And hope that they get it.
And then you point the fact at the people that are willing to maybe accept the fact. You don't bully right ahead into the most religious part of USA or Sweden or whatever country. You don't go there, run into there and say, God is not real.
Wait a minute.
Wait.
Pat Robertson gets out of here and he's talking to a whole lot of people. We have every right to ridicule that dude right into oblivion.
Yeah, but
there's a difference there. It's not just me walking into some general store spouting atheism.
Could I just qualify something?
Now, my time. Do you really think you can ridicule a person that believe that God is on their side to not believe that the most mightiest thing on earth, on the whole whatever, is with me? Do you think you can? Because you can ridicule, but you cannot you cannot ridicule that person to not believe in that. And your point, your goal is actually to change the society. Then you go
Not at
to the
all.
person. No, now okay, your goal is to ridicule persons.
Yes.
If the goal is okay, but then you don't want to change society. You're just here to ridicule
Wait a minute
person
now.
because you
If
like it.
Pat Robertson is coming on the air and he's telling a bunch of lies and a bunch of bullshit, I have every right to go on there and ridicule the shit out of him.
But
For the
have
betterment of the society.
Have I ever talked about your right to do it? I talk about why you do it. If you want to change the society, then you go to the person you can actually affect on with your talk. You speak to the people that
Bullshit,
will
man.
listen.
I don't give a fuck about all this crap, right? But I mean, I can't say fuck on fucking TV before 9 o'clock at night, but I can say all the religious shit I can. Why is it not illegal to talk about religion before 9 o'clock, but it's illegal to say fuck, cunt, and shite? You know what I mean? And you're saying, well, we couldn't do that because it's censorship. I'm being censored all the fucking time. But we can't fucking censor religion. Why can't we apply the same laws to religion we apply to fucking language?
I
understand that you can do whatever you like. But if you want to make a change, then you have to go to the person you can actually change. You have to go to the person that actually will listen. Because if you go to a person that will not listen,
It's vast. If I'm really feeling him say on YouTube and making a video about him, his audience may see that. That's who is on the fence, who needs to be get that counterpoint. No one's going to change Pat Robertson. No one's going to change Bill O'Reilly. But they all need to be countered, and that's the game.
24/7 Father Ted should be mandatory watching material.
I mean, there you go.
I actually believe that there are, of course, people that should be ridiculed all the time because they are so stupid so the clock stops. But the interesting thing.
I knew Terse was like that.
The hell?
Seriously, dude, you Scots are a bunch of feisty bitch. Between you and Fiona, I expect one of you to come out swinging at Claymore at any time.
Nuns, girls.
Oh my.
But
anyway, we've been on here for a couple of hours, so maybe I'll just end it. We can continue babbling away afterwards, is that what you want?
Okay, sure. I don't know where to go yet.
Yeah.
Well, it's
I think I'm coming to a resolution over my issue. I just can't stand people.
I'm with that, you know. I think I love animals. That's why I live where I live. I don't like animals either, you know. It's fine being here in the morning. Thank you very much, people, for putting up with me. I know I'm a terrible fucking, guest to have. I shout over the top of the, I get drunk and rowdy and I'm Scottish and
hey,
you're thank you for having me. I love you so. See you next time, yeah.
Terse, ever since you had a go at Von Helton, you've been on my radar. I love you, dude.
You don't ever shout. I have never heard.
I was going to say, don't be so terse next time, and please, can you get to the point and actually tell us what you actually mean, your opinion, please, next time? Don't beat around the bush so fucking much.
Yeah, don't hold back. Tell us how you really feel.
Anyways,
the thing is with him, I know what he means, but it takes time.
So does anybody else have anything last minute thing to say or whatever, and then we'll end it?
Cool.
Thanks for having us.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for pulling in.
Yeah, Knuckles!
Big jobs.
We're done.